Everyone, go to Bread here, and this just came out today. It came out yesterday. Posted yesterday at 1:53. Farm trespass laws pass, making it illegal to use websites and social media to incite others. So this is an ongoing kind of political battle here in Australia, where the farms in Australia, particularly the animal farms, where they raise and they slaughter animals. Um, there's been protesters that have gone into these farms and taken photos and taken evidence and exposed their lying practices. They're lying about the practices they do. They're being far crueler to animals than they say they are. They're not exposing how they treat animals, and people just don't know where their food is coming from. And the conservative government here in Australia, the so-called liberal government here in Australia, is apparently this is their biggest issue. The biggest issue isn't land clearing in Australia caused by these farms. The biggest issue isn't climate change being caused by the massive amounts of greenhouse gas emissions caused by the meat industry and the dairy industry. It's not the PTSD caused by workers in these factory farms. It is not the welfare of the animals. Apparently, the biggest issue are the protesters, and most specifically, the biosecurity of these farms. So the New South Wales government recently amended its biosecurity laws so that anybody that trespasses on farms in New South Wales can be fined more than $400,000. That's insane. These new laws, which ban, essentially, stifle free speech in Australia, anything that can be seen to be supportive of these protests and these... I will say these are illegal. The trespassing and breaking into farms to get evidence on how they treat their animals is illegal under Australian law. I agree with that. That's a fact. They can face up to 5 years jail time. Up to 5 years jail time if they trespass and break the law. And the people that break this law, making it legal for websites and social media, people posting on websites and social media to incite, I'm not entirely sure what that means. That could be anything. That could be expressing support. That could be saying good on you to somebody who has gone onto a farm. Honestly, it could be anything. And they could end up with, I think it's a year in jail from posting online. So this is very clearly a stifling of free speech in Australia, specifically aimed to protect the meat industry here in Australia. Look at all of these fucking farms. This extends to forest workers as well. Anybody want to protest chopping down huge amounts of Australia's natural forests? You can get screwed. You can get in huge trouble. You can get a $400,000 fine for apparently breaching biosecurity in Australia. So this is apparently the biggest issue that we're facing in Australia at the moment. This is apparently what our conservative government wants to spend our time and police efforts on. It's ludicrous. It's ludicrous. Back in July, they beefed up the fines. Beefs up. What a shitty pun. Up to $400,000 and potential jail time for trespassing on a farm. For trespassing. Apparently this is under the guise of biosecurity, but we all know what it's for. We all know that it's just to stop these protesters. It's to stop the information getting out about how animals are treated. Look at these pigs. Look how they're kept. Cramped. They don't have anywhere to move. And this is before they get their throats cut. Absolutely disgraceful. On the spot fines of $1,000, $220,000 for individuals, $400,000 for groups. We've seen a disturbing increase in vigilante behaviour and threaten the biosecurity of the property. Absolutely ridiculous. They're not threatening the biosecurity of farms just by going in there and taking some pictures. Once again, biosecurity is being used as an excuse to attempt to limit consumer awareness of the systemic cruelty occurring in farms and slaughterhouses across Australia, said Aussie Farms Executive Director Chris Delforce. There has not been any incidents of biosecurity hazards caused by activists, despite hundreds of activist-led investigations into farms and slaughterhouses during the last 40 years. Clearly, these protests are being used as a smokescreen to stem the tide of footage and photographs, which have been for many years a source of great embarrassment and reputation damage for industries that engage in commercialized animal cruelty. This bill, and more severely this bill, because this one, at least people are doing technically a crime. They're trespassing on land, and it's not theirs, and they are doing illegal things. Even though I 100%, I can't say 100% agree with this. I think it has more positive effects than negative effects, but 100% illegal. I don't encourage anybody to break onto any farms. Disclaimer for the Australian police, in case I want to get a year in jail under these new laws. This is the one that I have a problem with. This is the one where it's illegal to use website and social media. I can't even say to you, and I don't say, if there are any Australian police watching, I do not say that protesters should go onto farms and take video and photos of animals that are being abused. I do not say that you should go onto farms and try and rescue any of the animals there. And I definitely don't want you to harm the biosecurity of Australia. None of those things I want. Okay? I'm just saying that the reason that I can't say that is because it is illegal now. And it is because I can get into trouble. So I don't want to see any of you out there in the comments. I don't want to see you posting anything about invading farms. I don't want to see you posting anything about taking photographs and exposing the cruelty of the animal farm industry. Because if you do, I'm going to call the police on you. I'm going to say, police, they're there in that comments, take them away to jail. They're inciting violence. These laws don't even require that a trespass is made. So you don't have to, this isn't a kind of thing where you can incite violence and then the violence happens and you can say to that person, well, they incited it, they should have some culpability. Even if there was no trespass, caused directly or indirectly by the people speaking on social media or on websites or on the web, basically, then you can get in trouble. You can get fined. You can go to jail. You can come before the law. This is a disgusting breach of free speech in Australia. This is a disgusting breach of animal welfare, and it eliminates any avenues for animal rights activists to expose what's going on in these factory farms. And the factory farms aren't going to expose it because they know what they're doing is wrong. And they just need to not tell people so that they keep eating their meat and keep eating their dairy and not feel guilty about the hundreds of millions of animals that are tortured and slaughtered daily, raped daily, to get them what they need. This is Go to Bread, signing out.